So next time, if you want to even to talk with me, say I will follow your rules, Zlatko. That's what I want to hear. If you don't want, then go your way.
Hi everyone. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I hope that you feel at home. I hope this is going to be a safe space for you. Please don't forget to like my video and subscribe. It's really going to help me in a lot of ways. So please just help a sister. Yeah. So as you guys already know, or to those who don't know, my name is Basitana Goring, and I'm a South African girl. I am from Mahaning village. I lived in Croatia in and out for 6 years. So today we are going to be talking about, well, honestly, this is so bad, but okay, let me do this. I don't want to redo this video again. Christian and I are back in South Africa. As many of you know that we are back, and we've been doing very well. Christian is in therapy, and he's going to school next year. I found a school for him, very good school, and we found our apartment. We have an apartment that I've actually really been dreaming of living here for years. And the fact that I get to live here with me and my child, it's just a dream come true, because, you know, if you know, Christian was banned in South Africa due to visa overstay. We'll delve more into that later. But so being able to stay here in 2024 with Christian, I didn't think this was going to happen. I didn't think this was possible, but it happened, and I'm very grateful. And we are not entirely where we want to be mentally and psychologically, but trust me, we have made some progress, and especially Christian, I can see the progress that he has made, and we are moving on with our lives. We are trying to start over and start afresh, and I hope this video is the last video I make regarding my marriage and that man. I really hope so, because it's not an easy video to make. I don't think I'm at a stage where I can kiki laugh about it. I will get there, and it's not because I can't laugh about it because I'm still missing somebody or anything. No. It's a combination of so many things of what I went through in that marriage, what I went through in that country in general, in the new apartment that I stayed in. I am still traumatized to this day. I still can't believe I went and lived in a dungeon, in a country like that. I still can't believe that I'm here today, alive, to tell my story. I can't believe it. But anyway, so I went to Croatia in 2018 after my ex and I dated for a couple of months. There was a point where after, like, we met in News Cafe where I was working, and then a couple of months, few months later, actually, to be honest, I fell pregnant. Yeah, I did. Wrong move, but yeah, that's what happened. And then he went back home. Then about a month or two, I don't know, then I felt like I got miscarriage. I had miscarriage, and I heard him say that my uncle was responsible for that miscarriage. I do not know why he had to lie, because he and I both know what caused my miscarriage very well. It's not something that I want to divulge here right now, but it was not my uncle. It wasn't my family members, so I do not know why he had to lie. But nonetheless, I did have a miscarriage, and then I went I think about 1 or 2 months later, or 3 months, I don't remember. I think it was 2 months later. Then I had to go to Croatia, move there with him, and then when I got there, to be honest with you, I don't know. It just wasn't what I expected. The vibe wasn't what I expected. And I'm not necessarily talking about the buildings and everything. Well, to be honest with you, because me being like, it was my first time flying to Europe, I thought I was going to see something way better than South Africa. So guess I had very high expectations, but that's a story for another day. But even like the vibes are just off from day one. The vibes were just off from day one. And then I went with his friend and him to his mother's house. We didn't go exactly into his mother's house. We went to drink coffee first, and then after that, the friend that we even we went with to have coffee was the guy that I knew from South Africa. He was actually the guy who wanted me not to go to Croatia. He wanted me not to continue the relationship with that man, because he saw that even when we were in South Africa, I was actually the one supporting him, even though he was earning way more than me. He was earning way more than me, but I would take money for that I made from tips, because I was working as a waitress, to buy us food, to buy him cosmetics. And every time after he got paid, he would spend 2 days, 3 days in Kasi. I will try to put the screenshot that of him and of his friend talking to me about the problems that Zlatko had with addiction, that I was warned about, and I foolishly ignored, overlooked, because I thought that I was going to change him. I thought that I was God, I was the Redeemer. So we went to his mother's house, and when we got to his mother's house, the vibe was very Croatian, you know. The vibe that I got there was very Croatian. But I think it was probably because she wasn't used to seeing black people, let alone a black person in her house, you know. So, and also the language barrier could have been the problem back then. But I took a bath. I remember taking a bath because it was like a long 18-hour flight, so I was exhausted. I took a bath and I took a nap, and then a few hours later, we went to what was going to be our apartment. It was it was big but wrecked up. Like everything was a mess. Tiles were everywhere, paints were everywhere. I mean, sand inside. You could tell that it was somebody was trying to renovate it, and then they just left it like that. So we had to be the ones to like kind of clean. I'm sorry guys, my son interrupted me. So yeah, we cleaned the house and we moved in. I think we stayed there for like 2 days, 3 days. The second day apparently the ex-wife wanted to see me, say hello. And then I did go to the ex-wife. We introduced each other. The first day was okay. The second day, she wasn't even saying hello anymore. I don't know what had happened. Sorry for another day. Then there was a day when he told me to go to his mother's house. It was very abrupt. And then I did go to the mother's house. Then he came about 2 hours later, and then he told me, and I was like, okay, what happened? And he told me that his friend had attacked him, and he owed him money, and the money was around 4,000. I asked him, well, but you don't have money. We don't even have money. The fridge is empty. So where is the money that you borrowed? And he was like, no, it was before you came, but we also, like, even before I came, you seem to be struggling financially. So where did the money go? And he told me that it went to casino. It went to casino. So that's when I really understood the magnitude of how big of his gambling problem was, how big his problem was. In South Africa, I didn't really understand because I had never met somebody with an addiction. let alone gambling addiction. And I didn't not know how dangerous and how dark and demonic that addiction was until that time when he told me. I was shocked. I was shocked. And, you know, we stayed when we went to get married. And then he left, he went to Germany. Then I found out that I was pregnant when he was in Germany. And then his sister, because I was starting to feel sick, his sister came and took care of me. Yeah, because I wasn't okay, so she came and helped me. And for the first 2 months, 3 months, she was really, I don't want to lie, she was an angel. She did everything. And then the time came for my husband to come back from Germany, and I was so excited that we are going to now get an apartment of our own. And I'm not gonna live here anymore because the sister's boyfriend was now starting to ask for sexual favors from me. Yep. As sick as I was, as pregnant as I was sleeping on their bed and they were sleeping on the couch. That's why I'm telling you that at first the sister was an angel at first. And then there was a time that when he came, my husband, when he came, Zlatko, went to casino with he didn't even come to see me first because remember I was staying with his sister and we had cancelled the lease at our small apartment. So when he came, he went straight to his mother's house. He didn't come to see me. Then apparently his phone was off for 2 days. And then it was time for him to come back from casino. Now his phone was on and I asked him what was going on. He came with a lousy lie. I don't remember really what he said. I think he said he was robbed or something. Oh man. Yeah, that's what he said. And then I called his colleague / cousin and I asked him, please, next time when he gets paid, please send money directly to me because I'm pregnant and I'm not working. And if he keeps just eating money in casinos, then we're going to have problems when I give birth. Then after that, his sister found out that I called the cousin and she got angry. She wanted to kick me out. She actually did kick me out, and it was cold November night. It was raining and I was pregnant. That time I think I was probably 4 months pregnant. And when I got to the gate, that's when she's like, no, I'm sorry, please come back. And I remember crying and regretting, where was I going? Why did I come to this country? These people are not humans. Like, why would you do this to me? I didn't ask anyone to kick your brother out of work. I did not do that. I was just trying to protect me and my child because now he was in Germany for months. He came back and he had no money. I was just doing what a mother would do, what any mother would do. Because I'm in Croatia, I have no family, I have no friends. I'm only depending on one person, and that is your brother. Then I went back to the house. I stayed there, and I remember there was a birthday party for her daughter, my sister-in-law's daughter. I remember it was somewhere on the 5th of November. I'll never forget that day because that's when I also started being able to eat. 4 months after my pregnancy, that's when I started being able to really digest something. And then he came, Zlatko came, my ex-husband came. And when he came, he didn't talk to me. He was talking to everyone else. I was just sitting there. And everyone else, the family members, sat on this long table. The adults, the kids, sat on a smaller table. And I was made to sit with the kids. Everyone else was on the table, feasting. That time, I didn't even take it too hard. No, when I look back, I'm like, okay, I didn't get the memo, but all right. Okay, so I begged him to talk to me. I pay her. I'm sure someone in the comments is gonna be like, girl, what? But yes, I begged him to talk to me, and I begged him to spend the night after everything that happened. This was the first time, by the way, he saw me. He came to see me after he came back from Germany, and then he could see that, oh yeah, she really is pregnant, with the money all gone to casino, the money that he had made in Germany. And it was a lot of money, probably 10,000 euros spent in 2 nights. But that's nothing, because the reason why he got a divorce from his wife, his first wife, was because he had taken 30,000 that they borrowed from the bank to buy a new house. He took it without telling her that, hey, our loan was approved. He took it and he went to spend it in casino, and that's how they got divorced. So yeah, we spent the night together that day, and he went back to his mother's house, and I was left with these people. And now the brother-in-law now really was persisting in me and him having sex, and my stomach was already showing. I was sleeping on his wife and his bed, the bed that they shared. His kid was there, so there was a day when he decided to the wife and the kid went to the store, and it was just me and him in the house, and he told me that he wanted us to make out. I told him, no, I'm not gonna do that. I refused. And then he took out the money, and I'm laughing right now, and I'm not laughing because it's funny or it's something to laugh about. I'm just, because it's to this day it still shocks me. I still remember it like it happened yesterday. And I just said no. And now I was infuriated. I wanted to go. There was an apartment that was empty that we had already been trying to rent out, but because all the money kept going to casino, we couldn't immediately get this apartment. And I was begging him, Zlatko, to please do something, talk to that woman so that I can just go and move in there while you decide to come back from your mom's house. That's what I was trying. Guys, if this video is all over the place, please accept my sincerest apologies. I'm not really good at this editing thing. I'm really bad at it, so please forgive me. But yeah, as I told you guys, I moved into the apartment, the new apartment that we were supposed to go and stay in. I don't even think that the apartment, he paid that apartment, but because I felt unsafe in my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's house now, I wanted to get out and stay somewhere else. Then I stayed there alone. Mind you, that time he was still in C. That's like probably 44 kilometers away from where we were at his mother's house. And then I kept begging him to come back, and he just didn't want to. I think he ended up paying for that first month and second month. I don't know how many times he paid, but he didn't really pay a lot of money for that place. And I even ended up being hungry, having no food, or like I had no food. I had no money for anything. So I had to call my friend, and my friend would send me some money. And then he eventually came, and when he came, it was when he had some money. And the first night, I remember when he came he moved in with his clothes, his stuff, but he didn't even spend the night there. He went to casino, and we had a scuffle about that. I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah, we had a scuffle about that, and his sisters came, and his sister came, the sister that I was staying with, and the husband, the boyfriend, the live-in boyfriend, became the one who wanted to sleep with me. And when they got there, I could tell that he felt more energetic. He felt more confident. That's when he started kicking me. And mind you, that time I was 5 months pregnant, and I started, kicking me. Then I wanted to call my friend. The reason why he kicked me was because now he was trying to take the 100 euro that I had. No, that time it wasn't even 100 euro. I think it was 100 kuna at the time, because they were still using their kunas. So he was trying to take it, and that time I stood against the door, so to not let him get out with the money and go to casino, because that's the last money that I had from him. And that's when he started to try to push me out of the door, and then he was now kicking me, because I was sitting down against the door like this, and he was kicking me. Then he got out. His sister and the brother, they were still in the living room, And I tried to call my friend. I took my phone on the table, tried to call my friend. The sister took my phone and tried to put it inside the fire pit. Those fire stuff, old fashioned stuff. Yeah. Recounting this, just I can't believe those people are this evil, even to this day. When I just think of every single thing that I went through in that country, I can't believe that 99% of those people are this demented. I can't believe it. I can't. Because the tortures, everything that I went through now recently, when I think about it, I came a long way. I experienced all that even a while back, but let me not lose my train of thought. So after she was trying to take my phone, she tried to put it in the fire pit. Zlatko, my ex-husband, asked her not to do it, don't do it. It's fine. Then I called the police. The police came, took him. He told me he was there for 3 days, but on the podcast he says he slept overnight. And I actually, foolishly, in that room when they were taking my statement, I actually was refusing to give them my statement. I was telling them that I don't want him to go to jail because he's the only one that I know in Croatia, and I don't want to lose a part of my child. But he slept overnight anyway, and he had to go to court some other time, I remember. And then I dropped the charges foolishly. Again, I was a fool. I know. I dropped the charges, and he came. I thought he was gonna come back, but so he came with the police. They said that there was a protection order. I don't know how it was a protection order when I never filed for one. Maybe they filed it on my behalf, but they said that there was a protection order against him that was filed for me. So he came with the police. He took his stuff. I remember how scared I felt because that time I was probably 6 months pregnant. Or 5 months, I don't know. But I remember feeling so scared. Questions of what are you gonna do? How are you gonna get out of this were lingering in my head. And then he left and he would come back. We talked. He came back for some time. He would go back again. I remember there were times when I was so hungry that I would faint. And then as I faint, obviously the neighbors would call the ambulance. The ambulance would take me to a psychiatric hospital to sleep in psychiatric hospital for days on and days on. Then he would call me and say, "Where are you? You are not in the house." Wait, Christian is there. So it was so obvious that they knew that I was hungry. They knew that I had no money and I was alone and pregnant. Because the time when they took me to a hospital, he noticed that I wasn't there. So he knew that I was there alone in the dark and hungry and pregnant. And then I came back from that psychiatric hospital. I begged him again to come back home. I have no money. I have nothing. He didn't come back. He even, I remember at some point, blocked me. Then his sister started telling me to stop harassing her brother. The other sister, not this one, not the one that I stayed with. The youngest sent me messages and told me to stop harassing her brother. I'm not her brother's responsibility. And that he's only going to take care of the child when the child is born. Until then, while I'm still pregnant, I have to fend for myself. And I was like, Christina, and I was Christina. I was like, Christina, because that's not how I knew her. When I saw her, she was always quiet and she seemed so sweet. But I've learned one thing about most people in Croatia, not all of them. Most, you can't trust anyone there. As a black person, you can't. You will burn. You can't trust anyone there as a black person. You're on your own. Listen, as long as you and your partner, maybe let's say you go in there with a partner and he turns on you. Let me tell you this. You are on your own in Croatia. No laws will protect you. No neighbors will protect you. No sister-in-laws. Maybe if you have some good friends, they will make some phone calls, but that would just be it. Phone calls, unless maybe your family gets involved and like say get your ass back home. But no one. You will be on your own. So I was like, wow. And mind you, this Christina person had 4 kids. I don't know about how many kids she has now, but at the time she had 4. She was a mother telling me this. So fast forward, he ended up coming, and we talked. We decided that we were going to move to Riega together. That was in 2018, late 2018. We were going to move to Riega together. And I was happy that I was finally moving away from his family. And I remember he asked his mom for me to stay there because we were now, the landlady of that apartment that I was staying in said no, he's been dodging, hasn't been paying rent, so you can't continue to stay here. And he begged his mom to let me stay in her house. The mother refused. That time I was like, 6 months pregnant? She refused. Yeah, she refused. When I tell you about Croatian people, there's nowhere, nothing. And I say this with no fear in my heart of any backlash or anything, because it's the truth. It is true. And it's what I went through, and it's what I experienced 99% of the time while I was in Croatia. They had nothing. None. Nada. So you're on your own, basically. You're on your own. Yeah, so I stayed, I don't remember where I stayed. I think I stayed with the NGO at the NGO's place or something. Oh, no, I had to go first. I went first because now I had nowhere to go. So the people from NGO helped me go to Rieka, and I stayed in a place, I call it dome, in a children's home where my son ended up being taken to. We'll talk about that later. But I stayed there for 1 month, and he came 2 days after I came. And then it wasn't an easy month for me to stay there, but it was a little bit more peaceful than in Knin, where I used to stay with his family there. It was a little bit more peaceful. So after 1 month, we got an apartment, and then we moved into that apartment. That's where, by the way, I had an argument with him. And the argument started because he took 1.5 kuna. The time they were still using kuna. The kuna that he was supposed to go and give and pay his son. He was giving him that time 1.5 kuna. And we had an argument because his wife, even though she knew and she divorced him for this very gambling reason, she would have said that I was the reason why. His ex-wife would have said that I was the reason why her son wasn't receiving money. So I was very, very angry when I found out that he went to casino and he gambled all the money that he was supposed to send to his son. And we had an argument that night. Now he's telling people that I was standing with a knife, wanting sex, and I was pregnant. What? Okay, but that's that. And then we moved out of that apartment because he was fighting with the landlord about like the payment issues and stuff. He had not like physically fighting, but they had disagreements. And then so when he talked about his gambling addiction, and he was trying to make it look like his gambling addiction wasn't big, that your gambling addiction was huge. Because even in Croatia, there was a time when we stayed in Croatia, and we didn't have food in the house. he went to work that morning and it was a payday, and he just kissed me, kissed Christian, bye bye, okay, bye. We were excited that, okay, even though we're not gonna have normal breakfast this morning, later when that comes, we're going to go to grocery stores and buy food. So around 5, we fixed ourselves, me and Christy, we fixed ourselves, and we were waiting for him to come. Time went and went and went. Mogai never came. He came around 11 with some lousy excuses. He said that he was poisoned at work and blah blah blah, which we all knew it was a lie. And I argued with him about that. We had a little argument, and I was giving a slap on my cheeks. Yeah, he slapped me. Then time went on and on. Then we moved to a different apartment. Yeah, I don't know why we moved to that apartment, but at that time I don't remember why, but we did move to a different apartment where we stayed. And then I think it was a basement. Yeah, I think it was but it was a very nicely furnished basement, and it was gonna be for temporary until we got the apartment that we wanted. And then I went to, even that time, by the way, guys, that time when we were living in that apartment, most of the money was going to casino. It's just that now he knew at least to save for rent, but most of the money, all of it was going to casino. Most of the time we had no food, and sometimes I would have to call my family to help. Not my family, like my friend, but that time she was more like my family. Hi, Pams. Even now, by the way. So I gave birth to Christian, and I remember the first people to hold my son were people from CPS. That time I thought they were there to support me, because during that time when I was giving birth, they heard that my husband was in casino. They heard me calling and crying, countlessly calling him to come and help me. I was about to give birth and you were in casino, and I was crying. So that's why they came. And that time I thought maybe they were there to help me. No. Look back now, I realized that these people were here to actually take my son from me. But they didn't that day. And Kirsten and I we went to the basement. And then about 5 days after that, after Kirsten was born, we were preparing now. We had found an apartment that was good. So we argued about something. I remember I was holding Christian like this. He spat here on my face during that argument. And I was gutted, but I felt also helpless. Like, now I have this child, I have to sit through it all. It will change, just kept telling myself that foolishly. It will change, but it didn't change. It actually got worse. And then we moved to that apartment, and he continued to gamble. He continued to hit me, and I went to those same people again, thinking in my naive head that they were going to help me. I went to tell them that, listen, this is what's happening to me. That's what my child and I are going through. Please help me. Remove me from this place. Get me out of here. Instead of me being removed, my child was taken for 9 months. And I begged them throughout that 9 months, please, I'm being abused. I don't want to stay there. Please remove me from that environment. Nope, it did not. They told me that we had to form a united front if we want to get Christian back. Now, they said they had this woman called Lavinia who was like a social worker. So she would come and evaluate how things were. That woman almost drove me over the edge. Every time when Zlatko would go to casino and come back, he would call her so that they could come together, and I wouldn't have to argue with him. I would have to argue with her because she would defend him. any time of the day, any time of the night, he would call her to come and defend him. And I was like, okay, are you a social worker or are you his defense lawyer? But she would defend him every time he would hit me. He would call her and then say that she's trying to call the police. Then she would come quickly and say, if you call the police, your son is not gonna come back. So that's your choice. If you want to call them, but just know that the information will be recorded by social services and you won't get your son back. That happened like that for 9 months. Then I fought hard to get my child back. We came back home and he fooled me again. He told me that he was going to change and he didn't change. I went back again to South Africa. Again told me that let's go to Germany. Germany was gonna be better, and I'm working, I'm getting paid better now, and I'm not going to casino. This is the proof. He was showing me proof that he wasn't going to casino. And I foolishly came back. But that time I had plans that I'm just going, because Germany was different. I was telling myself that maybe when I get there, I'll go back to school and find some work and move out and stay with my son alone. Things didn't happen like that, and subsequently, because his job finished and we had to go back again to Croatia. And even in Croatia, I thought that time that I was going to start living on my own, which eventually obviously happened. So we decided to go together. And actually at first, before we went to Croatia, the first option was Netherlands. And we were packing, we were ready for Netherlands. But the problem started when he lied and he went to casino with all the money that we had. Hi guys, hi. So as you can see, I'm recording this for the second time again today, because yesterday I just couldn't go on anymore. I'm sure you'll see towards the end of the last bit that I wasn't feeling well, and that's unfortunately what happens every time I talk about this issue. Every time I have to talk about my ex, every time I have to talk about Croatia, I just start to feel sick to my stomach. I just have this urge to want to throw up. Literally, I'm not even just saying it. I'm saying it literally. I just start feeling sick to my stomach, honestly. And I hope I'm going to get to a point where I'm not going to have this feeling anymore, because I feel like I do have the duty and I have the responsibility to warn women that look like me, women of color, about that country, about those people. I have a sense of like duty to make sure that women that look like me, South African women, black women, women of color, don't repeat the same mistakes that I made, and that they take away from my videos, if anything. So last time we spoke, I was talking about the fact that we were actually supposed to go to Netherlands first before we moved to Croatia, and we actually packed. I packed. My ex was in Netherlands working there, and we were going to join him, and I thought we had found a place. I even borrowed extra money from a bank so that we could add to that, like pay deposit. If you live in Netherlands, you would know how expensive apartments in Netherlands are. Expensive, but they're very modern, as I love them. I love my apartment. So he didn't have enough, but I saved some. I borrowed some. Actually, I didn't save. I borrowed some money so that we could put everything together and be able to move in and pay like the courier guys to deliver our stuff. Okay, as I was done packing, that day when we were supposed to move, he was just off. Like his energy is always off. He's Croatian, but that day it was extremely off. I could tell that he was way quieter than usual. And then he took Christian for a drive, and then he sent me this long message. I'll try to put it here. I'll try to just put it here when I edit. And he was telling me that he spent basically all the money in casino and that I should forgive him. But he didn't forget to tell me that I should forgive him because I've done so many mistakes, which, by the way, I've never made a mistake that could jeopardize my son's um, ability to go to school, for his school fees to be paid or to eat. However, have made mistake of jeopardizing his safety by moving him to Croatia. That I will forever hold myself responsible for. And not only moving with him to Croatia, but going back to that man. That's one mistake that I made, and that's the biggest mistake of my life. Yeah, so we moved to Croatia and we moved to this apartment. The apartment was so beautiful. It wasn't fancy, but it was modern, and I love a modern apartment. So it was like that, and we stayed there 2 months, 3 months. Everything was fine because he wasn't staying with us full time. He was staying in Austria, and Christian and I were staying there, so he would just come in like every now and then when he wasn't working. So after that, he went back to casinos again. Even though he was earning enough money to pay for that apartment and to save and give me some money, he wasn't giving me any money. He was just paying for the apartment. I was paying for my food, our food, me and Christian. I was buying Christian clothes, and I was saving some money also for my surgery because I did time tuck and a liposuction. I did that because I was so tired of being called fat that I was looking like a cow by him all the time, and I just decided that I was going to fix that, and I did, and I feel so much better. So he told me then in January, like I think January, February, something like that, that he wasn't going to pay there anymore because it was too much for him to pay. And mind you, the apartment was 850, and I think he was earning around 3.8 to 4,000 euros. The apartment was 850 euros. But he said that it wasn't enough. He wasn't earning enough money to pay for the apartment. So most of the money was obviously going to casino. And then I told him that because we were literally separated but living in the same apartment. He was coming every now and then, but we were separated basically. So I told him that, okay, can you please just move out permanently, like take your clothes, take your stuff, and then Christian and I will be the ones to pay. I will to stay here, and you can pay maybe like 400 euros a month, and I'll pay 400 so that Christian and I can still stay in this apartment, and we don't have to move from place to place all the time and confuse him. He refused, and then eventually we had to move. But before we moved, I asked him, can I just that was my last time, can we please stay here, me and Christian, and I will pay the full amount. He still refused, but I was like, why do you refuse for me and Christian to stay here when you can't pay this apartment? And I'm asking you right now that I want to pay it in full. Then he still refused. I don't remember what his reasons were, but they were just weak. And then I remember I had a job offer in Dubai. Before that job offer, let me mention this first. I was living in Croatia with my German ID, and I had to do my Croatian ID. They asked me for what do they call it? Police clearance. Police clearance. I'm sure you know what a police clearance is. And then I had to go to Germany because that's where I was staying for 1 year to get that police clearance. I asked him that time. I didn't have money to go for a flight, to book me a flight. He said he would. Then he changed his mind. He said he wouldn't because he doesn't have money. Then he said he would again. Then I remember I wanted somebody. Actually, because he was that time when I had to go to Germany, because he works in contracts. He's a contractor, so sometimes he's in Austria, sometimes he's in Germany. That time when I had to do my ID, he was in Germany. So I asked him, can you do it for me? And he refused. Can you go get my police clearance? And he refused. It's possible for somebody to go get police clearance for you as long as you write down an affidavit, but he refused. So I tried everything, and then because I didn't know anyone there, I had a friend, and her name is Loretta. Hi, Lori, if you're watching. She is such a sweetheart, and she agreed for Christian to be with her. She babysit Christian for me with my other friend, David, and then they babysit Christian together. And when I called him, I told him that I found babysitter. He was not happy. He was saying that I was leaving Christian with my friends and they are strangers to him. Okay, but now you said I could find a babysitter. So now that I found one, you have a problem. And mind you, when I told him about the news that I found a babysitter for Christian, I gave Loretta a phone for him to talk to her, and he had no problem. He had a problem after they left, that, oh no, now you're leaving my son with strangers, blah blah blah. And then that was out of the way. I told him that he's not stranger, he's always with Christian. She was always visiting us. And then now it was time for him to pay for my flight ticket to go to Germany, to Düsseldorf, to get that police clearance. The guy refused. He refused. I had to ask my friends again to help me pay for the flight ticket, and they did. The next morning, he called me. I think he thought that I ended up not having money for flight. He called me, and he saw that I was getting ready, and he was threatening to call the police. Mind you, this was, if I didn't get this police clearance in 2 days and submitted it to the Croatian police station for my ID to be processed, I would have been banned, because I would have been considered illegal in Croatia. So I had 2 days deadline to submit these papers, and he knew that, but he refused. He didn't want me to go and get those papers. So that morning when he called, he was trying to confirm if I was still going. Indeed, I was really going. So he was refusing because I really relieved that he was refusing so that I could stay there illegally. He didn't want me to go and get my papers, because he wanted me to end up now being there illegally. And if I'm illegal in a country, obviously there's not much I can do, even if I'm facing abuse at home. Well, later I found out that even if I was illegal or legal in Croatia, it didn't matter. The fact that it was that they didn't care. I mean, you saw the video. So, but at the time, I thought that maybe if I'm legally there, my rights were protected at the time, and I could complain, or I could find a job, I could do a lot of things because I'm there legally. So that's what he was trying to prevent. He wanted me to stay there as an illegal immigrant, so that I could be wrapped under his wrist and not scream every time he punched me. So after that, I realized, I don't know if I said this on my other video, on the previous video or whatever, but when I came to Croatia, I had a mission. I knew that I wanted to go there and work out Christian's papers. I wanted to go there, move out, stay there with him for some time, until I get enough money to either move out or pay the apartment by myself, then work towards Christian getting his visa ban lifted so that we can go back home. That's what I wanted, because obviously staying in Germany and working there as I planned when I moved from South Africa did not work out. And it's not like I didn't ask for help in Germany. I did. That's a story for another day, but it didn't work out. So where was I? I'm losing a train of thought. So okay, I forgot where I was. Jesus Christ. But yeah, and then I had to move. I realized how dangerous the situation I was getting. It was already dangerous, but it was getting more and more and more. This guy was so desperate to control every aspect of my being, every aspect, and he could see that I was really working towards getting out. So when he saw that I was really working towards being independent and doing my own thing and getting out of the toxic marriage, it really infuriated him, and I could see the desperation in him. He was willing to do everything to make me stay, to make me abide by his weird rules. And so I got a job offer. Well, that job offer had been there and since January actually. So I think I went to Dubai in March, beginning of March. I finally decided to go because I was thinking about it. The job offer, I was going to be a waitress again in a nightclub. I wasn't going to be a prostitute. I wasn't going to be a stripper. I wasn't going to eat anybody's shit, like some people said on comment sections of that podcast. And I don't even blame them. The fact that you said she suddenly went to Dubai and came with a lot of money, which I didn't even come with a lot of money. The fact that you said it like that, you obviously wanted people to label me as a, how, like all people in Croatia label black women. I mean, even your police labeled me as one. Even that man who attacked me tried to insinuate that I brought men in and out of the house, fleet of men. So you were trying to insinuate that I was that, and you always did that, even when I was pregnant. So I went there, and when I got there, I might have said this before, but I don't know, so I'm gonna just say it. If I did say the story, if I said this in this video, please just fast forward. But I'm going to say it again. So when I got there, first day was okay, and I was going to train, but things were not going well. But that's a story for another day. If you wanted, just comment, leave a comment on my comment section. I'm gonna leave it open this time. So I felt like I wasn't going to be a waitress. I felt like I was going to be a maid in a nightclub, honestly, because I've been a waitress and I know that when you train in a bar, on the floor, serving customers and whatever. But I was just cleaning 99% of the time. I was just cleaning, and I was cleaning toilets and kitchen. That's what I was doing. And then when it was time for me, actually I stayed there, to be honest with you, I stayed there for 7 days. After 3 days, I was like, okay, when am I gonna do like actual waitressing training? They didn't even know. The manager didn't even. She was that shocked that I was going to be working as a waiter. Then they wanted my passport, and I was like, no way in hell, nobody's gonna take my passport. And then they said, if you can give us the passport, then you can work here. I was like, say no more. Then I said, I quit. I'm not gonna work here and clean people's toilets. I came to be a waiter, not to be toilet cleaner. And then and also, even if I was a waitress, because I was planning for Christian to stay with his dad for 2 months, and then after that 2 months, I would get Christian and then move with him to Dubai to continue working there and put him in school. But I realized that when I got to Dubai, things were so incredibly expensive. The rent there for a normal apartment for me and Christian was just insanely expensive. So I said no, it wasn't gonna work. And I also had a feeling that back there something was wrong with Christian. I just had it in me, like something was wrong, something happened. And I was right. When I got there, he had already taken Christian out of school. That 1 week that I left, Christian was already out of school. They went to his mother's house. When I got to the apartment, it was empty. So when I got there, I just decided, okay. Actually, when I was still in Dubai, I already had been looking for an apartment. And I got this apartment. Unfortunately, I got the Dennis Melatich's apartment. Unfortunately, I did not know what was lying ahead. I did not know. So when I got there, I moved in. I went and took my stuff. I moved in. And then what happened. First month, I already told the story, so I don't really feel the need to continue like reiterating what really happened. But yeah, I stayed there, and the attacks eventually happened because of the showers that were faulty, because of the apartment that wasn't properly built. And first day of the first attack, because remember, he attacked me twice. When he was alone, I managed to fight for myself. Yes, I did. I fought for myself that first attack when he was alone. The second time, obviously, he came with 2 other people, his older sons, to attack me while my son was watching. And people were upstairs. There was people upstairs. I'm sure they're probably gonna be watching this video. If you do, I wonder how you feel. But you probably don't feel anything. I mean, I'm just a black girl, right? So you probably don't feel anything. But they were there listening to me being attacked and screaming for help. And the neighbors were also, they also heard, and they did nothing, despite that my child was there watching everything. I guess Christian to them was not a human being because he had black in him. I got out, I screamed for help, Still, no one came. There was one guy, and if you're watching this, God bless you so much. If you're watching this video, you know yourself. The guy who came, got into the house, and he was talking to them. And then I asked him, please let this man give me my phones, because when they were attacking me, they took my phones to make sure that I wasn't recording anything during the attack. So I asked him to ask him to bring me my phones back, and he was refusing at first. But the guy told him that you just attacked this woman in front of a child. What more do you want from her? Give her her phones. And he ended up giving me my phones. But he didn't give me my ID. The ID was taken by the police, and he subsequently refused to give it back. And yeah, that's what happened. And you saw in the videos everything. I don't have to explain that. But the neighbors were there. Not even one person said, does your son need some water? Does he need shoes because he didn't have shoes on? Does he need to put on his shirt because his shirt was also not on? Because we were in the house when they attacked, so his shirt was not on because it was hot. Nobody. Not one person. And that's how Croatians are for you. That's Croatian people in a nutshell. Nobody even offered Christian water. Nobody even asked, are you guys okay? They did not care. They did not care. No humanity, nothing. No care in the world. So when my ex promised that he came the second day after the attack, he's obviously lying. He's lying because during the first attack, I went to Budapest alone with Christian. Where was he? He was lying. He didn't come. Even the second time during the attack, I will put the audio here of me begging him. Actually, that was the day of the attack. That audio of me talking to him on video call, begging him to come and help me. I know some of you will watch it and be like, oh my God, why are you crying uncontrollably? I also watched it and thought, okay, maybe you shouldn't have cried like that. But at the time, I was so scared. I was nervous. I had never felt so humiliated. I had never felt so helpless. I felt like the whole world was against me and my child, because the videos had not been like that viral yet. So not many people. I feel like maybe some people did not know what was happening in South Africa. I can't say anything about Croatians because even if they knew, they would have done nothing. They would have 99% of Croatian people would have done. They would just watch me and my child burn to death without doing anything. And they know that that's the truth. I'm telling the truth. So that time, South Africans, people around the world had not seen my videos. And I begged him, please do something, send us some money for a hostel. And he was mocking me. I'll post a video of that. And he also said that he went to the guys. He actually told me he sent me an email after the podcast and telling me that he went to the guy's house and he tried to open, and the guy called the police. Dennis Miletich called the police. We both know that's a lie. If you wanted to do something to him, you would have done it while I was still there with Christian. When we came, you would have done it. You would have went there, or you went to the police and you recorded the police. Your own police officials told you that they would have done the same thing to me. They would have slapped me. Did you go to a Croatian news channel with that recording? Did you make them listen to what they were saying to you? Did you make them listen to how they were ridiculing me in the recording that you recorded? What did you do about that recording? Nothing. My son and I were battered. And in your country, and you were in your country, and you did nothing about it. the first thing that you thought of when you wanted to take action was to come to South African podcasts, to South African media, and humiliate me more than you and your people have already done. Was humiliate me and my child more than you have already done. And to people that were calling me Jezebel, some people were calling me gold digger, some people were calling me a slay queen. Those are not me. Those are probably projections. I'm not none of the things that you call me. And a lot of people were saying, "But you don't read comments." I will read the comments because they will do nothing. They do nothing to me, because when I read that, I read that and I know that you are directing it to me, but I don't feel like it's going towards me because that's not who I am, so it doesn't hurt me. Maybe it's a projection. Maybe saying it makes you feel better, and if that's what it is, then I'm glad I could do something for you, my dear. I'm not a gold digger. I've never been one. I have never loved anyone because of what they could offer me. If I was a gold digger, this guy was working in South Africa. Yes, he was earning a good amount of money, but it was all going to casino. The first month I noticed that he wasn't giving me money, I wouldn't have paid for his food. I wouldn't have bought him food. I would have left and went to find the next catch. But I did not. I even went on to have a baby with him. I made so many mistakes just sacrificing to be with a man that was older than me, that I happened to fall in love with. He just happened to be older and white. But he did give me money, spoil me, take me on trips, buy me expensive bags. No. I unfortunately fell in love with him. And that's the kind of person I am. I'm a lover, and I fell in love with the wrong person. And I'm here right now to tell my story, and in hopes that someone out there, a woman like me, a young woman like me, take something from this, learn a lesson from this. Whatever everyone else say about me doesn't affect me, because I know the kind of person I am. And people that know me, they know the truth. I'm doing this, I'm telling my story to shed light, to shed awareness about the experiences that I don't want to see another black woman go through. I don't want to see another black woman cry on the internet pleading for help. I hope I was the last woman of color to do that. I hope I never get to see another girl suffering and stranded abroad and humiliated abroad. And to Promise Makwenyane, I wish I could be mad at you. I can't be mad at Promise Makwenyane, because whatever your intentions were, but because I saw you pinned a comment saying that you're just doing your job, you want content. Maybe that was for content or whatever your intentions were for inviting that man. It's fine, because at least most people got to see what a narcissist is and what I was dealing with. And now I'm done. Hopefully I never get to tell this story the same way again. Hopefully now I'm going to use my YouTube channel for good. I mean, this is also for good, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that I hope I'm going to use this now, like, to move forward and bring you in to our lives as we try to move on and start afresh, and healing journey. Yeah, invite you into our healing journey and share some really positive and good stuff. I will still do some videos every now and then, awareness videos every now and then, and if I feel like I've left some things out that I needed to say, I will do some videos, give some updates about what what's going on legally with the case, I will still do that. But for the most part, I want to use this platform. I want it to be a cheerful and fun place. I want to share some fun memories, some like how far we are with our healing journey, and Christians and I's life, our new life in South Africa. And I hope you're going to be here and cheering us on, praying for us. And yeah, I think this is going to be it. I'm happy that I finally finished this video. It took me 3 days to finish this video, by the way. It was hard, it wasn't easy. But if you've watched until this far, thank you. You know what, thank you so much. I don't take you for granted. I don't take this for granted. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you're going to like my video and follow me. I mean, subscribe to my channel. I saw that I'm at 788. I hope you're going to help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful, month, year ahead. Thank you. Bye.
I'm aware of it.
Oh, okay. So tonight, are you gonna?
Yes,
If you don't come tonight, then are you gonna book us a place to stay? If you don't come tonight, are you gonna book us a place to stay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, then book it now because we need it now.
Yeah, you already have place to be. I will come.
Where? Where is the place? Because Christian and I have nowhere to go. No, I do not have a place to stay. Christian and I have no place to stay.
Where are you now?
We are in a hostel. We have to check out at 10. So are you booking it or not? Because after here we have to stay somewhere. We can't be homeless. I'm talking to you. Or you don't have to answer any questions. Unfortunately, you do. No, unfortunately, I have your child here with me.
No, I'm not answering to you.
I have a child here. That's yours. That I'm desperate with.
Because you had to yell.
I'm not yelling.
Around you.
I'm not yelling.
Oh, come on. This won't work anymore. This.
Those things to me right now in the situation that I'm in. You're not saying those things to me right now in the situation that I'm in. You tell me you're not serious. Tell me you're just saying it to hurt me. Tell me you're saying it to just hurt me.
You're almost 30 years old. You're almost 30 years old. Wherever you go, you do. Yeah, record. Fine. So, what's the problem? Why do you have to do
It will go.
Meche. I deserve this, yeah? You take also. Okay, let me say. First of all, you need to trust me on this.
I don't trust you for anything. Please, Uncle, please. I just want to get the divorce.
You know, all my everything I give you, and every day calling me. Take the finger. Let me break it. Stop, who?